Welcome to Jurassic Park.
That is one big pile of shit.
What is going on, cast and crew? Welcome back to Tyler's Theater. In today's video, we are going to be discussing Jurassic World Rebirth. So for this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to just do a quick review, kind of what I thought about this movie, give it a rating, because I am a huge Jurassic Park movie fan, then jump into why the Jurassic movies just have not captured that same magic that the original Jurassic movie had. And so I want to get into a little bit more thinking and discussion into why that is. So I'm going to give this movie a 4.5 out of 10. There were a couple scenes that I thought were kind of cool to see. I'll try to avoid spoilers, but this review is going to be pretty quick. So let's just start with the positive. The good things about this movie: the special effects were phenomenal. The dinosaurs looked good. The island that they were on was really beautiful. You know, I don't know how much of this movie was shot in a real setting compared to a set or a green screen. I would say the best scenes in this movie involved the Mosasaurus. A lot of this movie took place in the water with water dinosaurs, which I really enjoyed. It was a nice little change compared to what we're used to seeing in a Jurassic movie. Aside from the visual effects looking good, I thought the characters were actually written pretty well. Mahershala Ali, who plays a character who lost a family member of his, is kind of that like overprotective character in this movie. You know, he's only interested in making sure that the people he's around are safe because of what haunts him in the past. My favorite character was actually played by Jonathan Bailey, who plays a scientist in the movie. Actually had a really good natural humor that I liked. I chuckled at, I would say, most of his scenes. Really wasn't a lot of humor in this movie, to be honest. Some people were laughing and I was like, that wasn't that funny. But all the times where I actually genuinely laughed came from Jonathan Bailey's character. His character is more interested in the good for humanity and bringing healing medicine to people and basically just overall looking out for the good of people. So I really did just like his character. Now, the one character who I thought was actually written really bad was Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson has been an actress for a while now, and she went in there and she did her thing. She tried to play this character the best she could, but the way she was written, in my opinion, was just not good. Now, I feel like her character was all over the place. I really didn't know what her character wanted most of the time. What her intention was, like what her character was, I really didn't know, and I just did not connect with her character. So the plot of this movie is that dinosaurs have been existing with humans for a while now, but they basically cannot survive the type of climate that humans are surviving. So they all basically moved to like the equator or something weird like that. I think this was just the studio realizing that trying to get dinosaurs living in the human world was kind of a dumb idea and just did not work. So like, you know what, we're just gonna correct this. Let's just pretend the dinosaurs can't live with humans, so now they have to move. But basically the rich a-hole character comes up and tries to build a group of people together and is like, hey, we can collect blood from 3 dinosaur types and use that to create healing medical purposes. And so they all go out to this type of island that has like all these mutated dinosaurs that weren't used for the park. So they were like, oh, these dinosaurs don't work, so let's just stash them here. And along the way, they get in contact with a family who was just out on a boat and literally just doing like a family trip in the perimeter that is actually off limits to humans. So really bad writing there. That family comes across the Mosasaurus, and the Mosasaurus tips the boat over, and they're basically radioing for help. And conveniently, the group who's trying to get the blood samples from the dinosaurs hear it and are like, okay, let's just go save them. And so now they all pair up and are all now headed towards the island. One thing I absolutely hated about this movie was how convenient the circumstances were. The writing, guys, was so lazy. Like, I'm not kidding. There was literally one scene where a character is trying to flag down a helicopter and the helicopter's like going away, and he literally turns his head and there's a big box that says flare. Oh, hey, go ahead, take that flare, signal the helicopter. Oh, you need a boat? Guess what? A boat is literally right there. One character is literally holding the dino samples because they end up collecting all of them, and then that character gets eaten by a dinosaur, and guess what? Every part of him gets eaten except the box full of samples that literally falls out of the dinosaur's mouth, and they go and grab the box. The writers were like, you know what, I have a good idea, but that doesn't really make sense, so let's just make it convenient and make it work out for them so that this movie and this story can continue. And I was just sitting there like, this makes no sense at all. Number 2, these characters, though some of them were written well and had potential, they made the dumbest decisions I have ever seen. Literally in the first 3 minutes of this film, something happens, there's a dinosaur locked behind doors, and literally the whole facility crashes down because of one minor inconvenience. And those of you who have seen the movie know exactly what I'm talking about. And to include that in the first 3 minutes, maybe not even that, I was like, oh my gosh, this movie is going to be so stupid. Who came up with that idea? To think like that was a good idea. Some of you may have seen the clip of the T-Rex. They unleashed it before this film came out, and the family is trying to get away from this T-Rex, and they make some of the stupidest decisions. I was like, what are you guys doing? Like, and people in the theater were laughing, and I was like, what? Next part to that is the ending to this movie was so anticlimactic. It felt like they were building something up and building it and building it and building it. You think a character is gonna die, and it turns out that they don't, and like literally everyone is saved and they just leave and nothing happens. Nothing. You know, I'm a big fan of the first Jurassic World. Some people may disagree with me on that, but the climax to that movie with Blue and the T-Rex, the Mosasaurus, and the Indominus all kind of fighting at it, I thought that was super epic, and I really loved that. And I always love seeing a good battle between big dinosaurs. You know, I really hate Jurassic World Dominion, but you can tell they were at least pushing for kind of a big climax. The way this movie ended was so boring. Like, I was like, I cannot believe they just went there. My last problem with this movie is the mutated dinosaurs. Look, it was cool in Jurassic World when they created the Indominus Rex. Like, it was kind of like, oh, look, we're testing something and we're dipping our feet into new waters. You know, we're trying something new. You know, in the original, John Hammond created dinosaurs, and now we're basically pushing the envelope and seeing what else we can do, which I think is a good idea. You know, humans would do that. We are prone to testing things. You know, we're curious. But opening that can of worms has only created ideas now that are just dumb. Like, this movie doesn't even feel like a Jurassic Park movie. Like, yeah, you see a T-Rex and some raptors and whatnot, but most of the animals in this are literally just monsters. And there's this one final boss dino that comes out at the very end, and I swear, I thought I was looking at like Godzilla. Like, it took me out of the feeling of being in a dinosaur movie. What the heck am I looking at right now? And it just takes the whole idea of what made Jurassic Park impressive, which was just bringing dinosaurs to the modern day. With that thought, that's just going to lead me now into why these movies just are not creating the same feeling that the original Jurassic Park movie had. This is a problem that I think modern Hollywood and modern movies are just failing at, is we have been gifted with some really, really good movies in the past. We want to try to keep that magic going. And as someone who looks at movies through the eyes of like, I want to see magical storytelling and I want to feel like I'm escaping to a new world, of course I'm going to keep going to a movie theater. Like, I enjoy it. Like, I love watching movies. And sure, of course, I love original films like Jurassic Park and Star Wars, and I want to see those movies continue in the future, and I want to see them grow and what they continue to do just because I am a fan and I exist in that fan base. The studios would say that that's their intention, but let's be honest, they're doing this for a profit. It's still a business. But look, you can only capture lightning in a bottle once. So sometimes things are best to just be left alone in the past. Jurassic Park being one of them. You know, one of the most famous scenes in Jurassic Park is when they show the Brachiosaurus, Brontosaurus, whichever one is the bigger one. I don't know which one it is, but you guys know exactly what scene I'm talking about. And the face of the people looking at that dinosaur for the very first time just resembles the face of wonder and magic. And this symbolizes an audience member watching this movie, because back then when Jurassic Park first came out, you know, CGI was just kind of coming out, and it was coming out looking very impressive. And that's the beauty to seeing a movie for the first time, is just, wow, like, I'm awed by what I'm looking at, right? Like, it is a spectacle. And the problem with modern movies is, yes, they're trying to add their new twist, but they're trying to recapture that exact moment and trying to play around with it and see if, oh, we can move a little things here, try some different things there. Maybe we'll create that same feeling. And look, you can come very close to capturing that moment or that feeling that you have, but 90% of the time, it's never going to be that exact feeling you have when you see it for the first time.
First time you see them, it's like a miracle. You read about them in books, you see the bones in museums, but you don't really believe it. They're like myths.
In this movie, there's a scene that actually reminds me of the original scene of when they first see the Brachiosauruses. And side note, in this movie, there's callbacks to like the original Jurassic Park movie. But there's a scene specifically when the doctor is actually trying to take blood from Brachiosaurus hybrids. I don't know what they are, but they look freaking weird. And this is like the first time he's seeing a dinosaur in its original habitat. You know, they make a comment about that earlier in the movie, that he's just looking at dinosaurs through a zoo perspective, and he is just in wonder. You know, they're playing the original theme from the Jurassic Park movie, and that scene actually gave me goosebumps. This feels very similar to how I felt when I first saw Jurassic Park for the first time, seeing the actors react to that CGI Brachiosaurus. But even then, it still didn't capture the feeling I had from seeing that original shot. If you're going to go into this movie thinking you're going to recapture that feeling you had from the original Jurassic Park movies, and there is a lot of movie franchises that are trying to do sequels to try to recapture that feeling from the original movie, and many of you know exactly what franchises I'm talking about, you're never going to feel the same. You can come damn near close, but you're never ever going to recapture that exact feeling you had. Look, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But to me, I think the solution is to just try to create original movies. You know, don't try to redo things that have already been made. Don't try to redo something that's already been done and just kind of tweak it here and there thinking that it's going to be changed. Focus on original storytelling. My latest video, I saw F1, and to me that movie was extremely original and I absolutely loved it. I, for one, am just kind of tired of seeing remakes and copies. I really want to see something that's just new, something that's different. An occurring theme that happens throughout the Jurassic movies is, why do people continue to do what they do when they know it's wrong? You make a mistake, great. We all make mistakes. When you're getting the warning of why you shouldn't make that mistake again, learn from it and don't do it again, right? But as we've seen throughout Jurassic, is that humans cannot stop. You know, once John Hammond opened that box, that opened the door for a lot of people to make bad mistakes. You know, dinosaurs were never meant to coexist with humans, and here comes John Hammond creating the first dinosaur. And at first, you know, it's like, wow, we've never seen this before. Like, this is incredible. We know what happens. Things go wrong. But somehow Jurassic Park 2 and Jurassic Park 3, people keep going back to the island, right? They keep testing the waters and playing with things that they should not be playing with. And then, of course, Jurassic World restarts the franchise, and they're trying to restart the park, right? It's profit. But nope, that's not enough. They need a genetic hybrid. They need to do something different. They see the evidence of why what they're doing should not be done. You know, the world is telling people, look, stop playing with dinosaurs. And the people just keep going and going and going. People keep getting eaten. People keep getting killed. And yet they still keep testing those boundaries. And to me, that actually kind of represents making more Jurassic Park movies, right? Like, the Jurassic movies that have continued to come out have only flopped and flopped and flopped, but yet we keep getting more Jurassic movies, right? Because the writers want to keep testing and see, okay, maybe if we keep doing it, we'll make a profit, or it'll succeed, or things will be different, you know, we'll recapture those moments from the original. But they're not listening to the audience, right? Reviews are speaking for themselves. Like I said, people are addicted. Look, I hated Jurassic World Dominion, and I told myself that I would never go see a Jurassic movie, but here I am seeing the new Jurassic World movie. We're curious, right? We want to see what can happen. And to me, that is one of the biggest plots to Jurassic movies. Just leave them in the past. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this video, but I'm definitely curious to see what you guys have to say. If you're interested, go ahead and comment on this video. Don't forget to like and share, and I will see you guys in the next video.